and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the Internet's most passionate wine program, and we are in the holiday spirits. We have a wonderful guest today, and I'm announcing the Christmas pack. Everybody's been asking. We have it. Mott, link it up. $79.99, free shipping, 3 wines. Drink along with me on Christmas Day. I've gotten a lot of emails from people saying, don't kill the tradition. I didn't kill the tradition. I was just traveling. You still got enough time. Get on board. 3 amazing wines. The white wine especially has me super excited. So I hope you join in on that. And most of all, I'm excited because we have 3 spectacular wines. Lots of hype around all 3 of them separately. And we have a very, very fun guest. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell the Vayner Nation who you are and why you're here?
Serena Altschul from CBS News Sunday Morning, and we're here to interview Gary about reasonably priced wines that are good, and in some cases, great. So we'll interview a little bit later.
Yeah, it's like one of those, like, remember when hockey has like a home and home series where you like play in Philly and then they come back and play in New York? That's what this is. This is a home and home. She'll be on my show, I'll be on hers. It's going to be a little fun. And why don't you tell us what your wine drinking career is like? Are you a massive connoisseur? Have you never had wine before in your life? Where do you live?
Somewhere in the middle. I mean, I will drink wine with meals. I love white and red wine and port. I'm not a champagne drinker. So,
devastating.
I'm so sorry. But I really am a tequila lover. But so wine
you pound
is
the tequila?
No. I just prefer
As in
tequila.
slang, meaning you like to sip the high-class tequila.
I do love to sip tequila. I like tequila, you know, in cocktails and straight. But I love wine with meals. And white wine, Sauvignon Blanc, and some cabs.
So you tend to have wine much more with meals instead of by itself.
Right.
Got it. When it's by itself, it's tequila on the rocks.
Pretty much.
Trust me, you just made an enormous amount of fans out of everybody who's watching. Well, we have 3 really interesting wines here today. 2 are white, 1 is red. I chose these as 3, you know, you were coming by, I was like, what am I going to do, the theme? What kind of theme? I'm like, you know what, let's do it this way. Let's just pick 3 wines that people have been buzzing about. All 3 of these wines have been emailed to me, requested. I've seen a lot of chatter on wine forums. So they're all buzzed about wines. We're going to go into the first one, which is a Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes,
At
that's
room
exciting.
temperature.
And I was just going to say, you seem to like to serve them at room temperature.
I'm a big fan of white wine at room temperature.
Which is so nice, because that's just so easy and accessible. And if you don't get it home in time for the refrigerator, how great.
Yeah, and when it's a screw top, it really makes it easy. So, yeah, I think, you know, it's like the high school beer rule. Like, you know, if you don't like the way it tastes, you get it as cold as possible. So that's what my theory is. This is the Yeelands 2008 Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough. It's a 90-point wine spectator wine. It's $10 US, so it's very, very well priced. And I'm excited to see what's going on with this wine. I've had like 3 or 4 people email me about it. We don't bring out the big-ass glass often for white wines, so this could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
We're going to put our head in here and give it a snippy sniff.
I like that.
Now this is
So
very...
it's dry.
It is. It's also very aromatic. There's a lot going on here on the nose.
Okay, you're looking to me to say something?
Yes, this is where we put you on the spot.
Yeah, okay, that's okay.
But don't be scared. Just call it as you see it. I mean, if not, you know, to the best of your ability, what's popping out on the nose?
I would smell citrus flavors, but that's just me, because it smells like lemony and grapefruit.
It's clearly citrus-oriented. As a matter of fact, as a hardcore tequila fan, it has a lime kind of thing going on the nose. It actually smells a little bit like tequila, but I think that's innuendo. Are you picking up the grassiness on the nose? And like the bell pepper.
Fresh grassy.
Fresh
and bell
cut
pepper, green. Right, okay.
It's very green, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's vegetal.
Yes, if it had a color.
It's like a garden.
Right.
Yeah. No, but really, it comes across extremely grassy. The citrus play is absolutely on point. It's lemon and limes, little Sprite action for the kids, you know, but clearly the fresh cut grass with some bell pepper and even a little hint of like jalapeno. Like I get like that really spicy.
Yeah, especially if you take a deep inhale, then it's
Are you
really
feeling it?
spicy.
Are you into the sniffy sniff?
Yeah, I like sniffy sniff a lot.
Good.
I do a lot of sniffing.
Good. So let's give it a whirl.
No. It's 1 o'clock, right?
It's 1 o'clock. let me just say, get ready to read a lot of comments of people announcing their love for you. You're a tequila drinker. You didn't spit the wine. You are well on your way to being a very popular guest.
I'm not a wine snob.
I hear you.
And besides, we won't be drinking too much wine, so
that's
I
fair.
can have a sip.
Yeah, I think you can hold it. I'm a little bit of a lightweight. So what's happening here on this wine for me is that it's refreshing. It's clean. What do you think?
Am I allowed to? So it's.
I hope you say it's the worst piece of crap you've ever had.
It's not the worst piece of crap.
Okay.
It's just it's a little thin. Mm-hmm. So it's not like a big nectary kind of a wine. Sauvignon Blanc that I would normally like to drink. But I would drink this with lunch, especially if it was really cold, and I'd throw an ice cube in it. Is that terrible?
That was pretty bad.
I know, we're not supposed to put
Everything was good up to that moment. You were really crushing it. And
they
that
just
kind of
changed the channel.
You made they're now watching YouTube clips of cats
but I would
falling out of
drink
trees.
this. That isn't, some things I would just go, I just can't drink it. But I would drink this.
Is it too green for you?
Maybe.
For somebody who loves green, obviously, Jets and all that, it's a hair green for me. Even for me, who's pretty extreme with that.
Right.
I feel like I bit a lemon, which I like.
It's tart.
It is tart, which I like. It's a little sweet
tart.
I like the tartness as well.
do too.
But I agree with you. Even for a Sauvignon Blanc, it's a hair thin. Even though we expect it to be light, I think that's a really good call. And that's where I was going to go. I was hoping you were going to be like the normal guest, and the first wine you would have been like, trying to feel your way out and be like, this is good. And I could be like, I totally disagree. But you kind of went there. No, I think you drilled it. I agree. I think, I'm a little disappointed in this wine. For all the hype and the banter, I find it a little bit lighter, even for Sauvignon Blanc New Zealand standards, which is pretty light. I almost feel like we could have replicated this by getting a nice pitcher of water and squeezing a bunch of lemon and limes and maybe cutting in some bell pepper, letting it sit overnight. Kind of would taste like this. No?
Yeah, maybe. Yes.
I really think so.
That's harsh.
Well, we've got to call it like we see it.
Okay.
I don't think it's awful.
No.
And at 10 bones, it's not going to kill anybody.
No.
But I think this is an 83, 84 point wine. I don't see where the Wine Spectator is going with 90 points in this wine.
I agree.
Which is what is so interesting about wine ratings. Okay, let's move on.
Well, this is fun, I have
You liking
to
this?
say. Yeah, that's
I get to
really,
do this all the time. All right, so...
You have a great job.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
All right, now let's rinse this out.
Okay.
And this one's a lot of fun for me because I'm wondering if you've ever had a 100% Sémillon before.
I'm not sure. Is that a French?
It's a grape.
Uh-huh.
You can have it in France from the in different parts of France, especially within Bordeaux. It's also
wow, that smell immediately.
It's aromatic for sure.
Yeah.
So this Mott and the Vayner Nation is the Bokenhosselkopf. There's a word for you. 2006 Sémillon from South Africa, 91 points Wine Spectator, $21 US. This is the people that brought us the Wolf Trap, which is one of our favorite all-time low-end wines. South Africa is going to be South African wines are clearly going to have a big year next year with the World Cup. A lot more, attention to that part of the world. A lot of world travelers are going to go to the Cup, and they're going to taste great wines because South Africa is a very underrated wine-producing country. Have you ever had a Pinotage?
I don't think so.
So that's really like their red, and Sémillon and Chenin Blanc are kind of like their whites. I'm excited for you to try this. As you can see, it's
like
thicker,
the color.
right?
Yeah.
It's got a thicker color. Right. Let's give it a sniffy sniff.
So it's interesting because it's a different sniffing than they do in the fragrance industry. So I did a piece on perfume and perfumers, and they do little sniffs, like bunny sniffs, like they go.
Bunny sniffs.
That's what they call it.
Bunny so sniffs. Cute. It's maybe even cuter than a sniffy sniff.
Really big sniffs, right?
Well, I think we can bunny sniff it up. I think we can. Maybe this is what maybe we'll just change it to the bunny sniff. We've gone sniffy sniff, bunny sniffs, kind of.
Sniffy sniff is great.
Nice. I think there's a value in doing it both. I know somebody who really goes in the bunny sniff way on smelling wines, and I think it becomes what works for you. Right. Whatever allows you to pick up the most fragrance. What are you picking up on this nose, if anything?
Lower tones, like not such high note kind of tones.
Like the last one was really in your face?
Yeah.
Whereas
brighter,
this one's a little more subtle?
Yeah.
Okay.
More middle.
Are you picking up stinky cheese?
Yeah, stinky cheese, definitely.
Like sweaty sock, right?
Yeah,
There's funkifying.
Yeah, but
like a dorm room that somebody hasn't washed
funky.
clothes in a month or two.
Yeah.
It is a little funked, right?
Right. Need to do some laundry in there.
I also get a little hint of like apricot on the back end, which I think is quite nice. But really, this is dominated to me as a white wine by that little stinkified kind of, cheese note. It does smell heavy.
Right. Because I usually smell that in a red. So
yeah,
it's unusual in a
like
white.
a Pinot Noir even, So yeah, it is. I think it's kind of neat that way. Do you like this nose?
I like it.
You do like it?
Yeah, I'm excited to taste it.
Well, let's give it a whirl then.
Okay. I like this wine. Yeah, it's smooth.
It's very smooth. It's very, very smooth.
Yeah. It doesn't have that same burning jalapeno. It's really smooth. I'd love it with cheese and fruit.
Do you think it's a little too smooth, almost like disappears on the palate a little bit for you? Or are you still tasting it?
Maybe you're right. But I guess I kind of like that with other foods. So if I'm eating it with cheese and fruit.
Do you think this is like lightweight in a way? Like it's not overbearing the palate? Or
I don't think it's overbearing, but I don't mind that. I don't
but you don't
expect
think
it
it's
to be a
disappearing?
full double, I don't. Is it disappearing?
I don't know. It's funny. I'm going to retaste it one more time. I'm just curious what for your palate, what it was doing.
So it's kind of neutral afterwards. Right. It does kind of disappear.
The two things
you're saying.
The two things I like about this wine is the minerality and the creaminess. I feel like there's like crushed rock in eggnog kind of thing going on. Kind of like, it's got the minerality, but it's got like the weight of almost like a dairy product. I like the weight. It's heavy for me on the palate. Right. However, then on the finish, it kind of goes a little Casper the Friendly Ghost. It kind of, whoop, it's like gone. I'm like, where did my wine go?
And is that because
it's like you stole my wine.
It just disappeared.
It just disappeared a little bit.
Where's the wine?
But I like the minerality, and I like the way it feels on the palate, and I like some of this kind of like custard kind of flavoring it has on the back, and almost like creme brulee, like just kind of like creamy for me.
Right.
Which is the oak, which I like.
Oh, it's like a little burny thing.
Do you get that little alcohol?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like the eggnog, because it's a little spicy with like a little creaminess.
I like it.
I
mean, it's also a more expensive
It's
wine.
$21.
Right.
Bones.
I see. And a 91.
91 Spectator. But you can see what's interesting is that's 1 point rating difference, but for your palate, there's a big difference.
I think so.
I think this is pretty solid stuff. I was really into it. The final chapter, it's kind of like those movies that you like. What movie did I just watch that I really liked? And then the ending, I was like, what the? Like
in the theater now?
Yes, it's that. I don't know. I got to think about it. Anyway, I was like all into it. I was like, oh, I can't wait. Like to the point where like even at one point I veered away and said I can't wait to recommend this to people. And then it ended so weird. I was like, what just happened? And so like it's like a bad relationship, right? Like everything went well for months, and then, whoa, what just happened? And then you don't have a good taste about it anymore. That's what this wine did to me. It's a little bit like a bad romance, a little Lady Gaga action on this wine. I'm going to score it 88 plus. It had the potential to be spectacular. I think it's a good wine, but that final chapter just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would drink this one more.
Then the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the last wine, which I'm very excited about. This is a Chianti, but no ordinary Chianti. It's a very pricey Chianti. This rolls in at 42 bones.
Wow.
Regularly over $100 on wine lists because we're discounting 42. It's probably more like a $55, $60 wine in a lot of stores.
Really?
This is 93 points wine and spirits. Very high score. And, a little zoom in. Il Molino di Grace, 2001 Reserva. And this is the Il Margon Single Vineyard Chianti Classico 2001 vintage, which is a spectacular vintage in Tuscany. This is Sangiovese based. And what's your take on red wines?
I like California cabs.
Cabernet.
Yeah,
So like big oaky.
giant,
Got it.
yeah.
So this is a totally different wine.
Right.
Let's sniff it up.
We'll see.
So on nose, you're a little bit worried because it smells too sour cherry for you.
It is sour, right? Is it just the year? Maybe
No,
it's not the year.
it's
so
the grape.
Just the grape.
Yeah. Does it smell also a little like rustic, like what am I looking for? Like aluminum. Like it smells almost like body shop to me, like rusted metal,
right.
like a little bit. That's what I was looking for, rusted.
Right, I can smell what you, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm dying to taste this
all
one,
right,
too.
let's give it a whirl.
Am I rushing the drinking? Right, so I can really taste the kind of rusty quality, that metally, rusty quality.
It's also
really
very sour
tart.
cherry.
Right, it's very sour and tart, which
It's like-
I love.
Remember, like, Bitter Beer Face, that commercial where, like, the person's face went all, like, wrinkly? Is it doing that to your palate? Is it, like,
My mouth is
Dry
parched,
and-
right,
yeah.
a little bit.
almost like cotton mouthy?
Yeah.
So, like, what else are you picking up on this wine?
Other than the tart cherry, I mean, I would taste, and I'm going to be totally wrong. It's kind of like a tackle shop. I kind of smell that, but that's not what you would smell because you were saying a rusty metal.
No. Everybody
Like,
has
I
their own
smell
thing.
a
I mean,
leathery-
you're just, you know, did you say leathery?
Yeah.
Well, I agree with that completely. I think it's massively leathery. I think there's a little bit of gaminess, almost like beef jerky,
Yeah.
coming through on the back end of the palate.
Right.
There's also some very bitter dark chocolate
Oh, okay.
on the back end. So if you ever like 92% cocoa
Yeah,
count,
right.
dark chocolate,
Yeah.
I get a little bit of that. I like the body. It's a very sour cherry play. I mean, if you can't get past the tartness, and this is on the tart extreme, on the tartometer, it's off the charts.
Right.
It's like a 9.9 on the tartometer. But if you can get past that, and for a lot of palates, that is very favorable, this becomes a pretty interesting wine to me. I think it would pair extremely well with meats and, you know, talk about a cheese and meat wine. This is where, like,
And maybe it would open up over a little time. Like
so
it
you're
would
feeling,
become-
for your palate, it's a little tannic.
Yeah. I
So
guess
there's that
that's right. I would
bitterness.
rather wait a little bit for it, maybe.
To me, I don't know if this calms down that much. I mean, it's already an 01.
Right.
This wine's just aggressive. It's not going to apologize to you or me who it is. It just is what it is.
Good.
Are you happy with it, or are you mad at it, or are you confused by it?
No, I would just go for our middle. I would go for the I would
The
go
Sémillon.
Yeah, the Sémillon. That
The
would be my-
Chianti is too tart.
Yeah, I think I'm not a Chianti lover.
Got it.
Yeah.
I also am one that loves to diss the Chianti. However, I feel like this is a pretty good wine. I like the way it's made. I think for a lot of people that drink Super Tuscans, this will go over well. It's a hair lighter than maybe some of those because they tend to blend in a little Cabernet and other things of that nature to give it a little more oomph, a little shoulder action as we like to talk about it. But I think this is a solid, well-made wine. I think Wine & Spirits got a little ambitious. But for my palate, because I do prefer that tartness and I can deal with the sour cherry and I don't mind the tannins, I'm going to say that this is a 90-plus point wine. I'm a little on the fence of saying, yeah, 42 bones, no-brainer. I probably wouldn't say that. However, if you are a fan of wines that have some of that kind of sour cherry, that distinctness that we see in Tuscany, this would be a wine that I think a lot of people would enjoy. All in all, to be really blunt, and I'm devastated because you were here and I was all excited, pretty disappointed with the wines considering kind of the hoopla surrounding them.
Well, the day is young, right?
It's early.
Yes.
There's a lot
There
more
could be
wine
more.
and or tequila to be drank.
That's true.
Good. Okay, every
So
guest
fun.
gets to ask the question of the day. So you get to ask any question to the Maniacs. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be wine related.
Right.
They will answer it, and it's very fun to see what they have to say.
And
the lurkers are gonna come out.
Because we love tequila, and maybe it's appropriate, we could do a tequila question. The difference between tequila and
Mezcal?
mezcal. Thank
got
you.
your
You guys
back.
did a mezcal show.
I got your back.
Yeah.
But you best get your front.
Okay, we've got it. So, do we tell the difference, or do we wait and see if people know? Do we tell you now?
Oh, so you're asking a factual question.
Yes.
Instead of an opinion question.
Oh,
Because these guys are
interesting.
cheaters. They're going to go on Google,
Yeah,
and they're going to
and
answer
they
in 30
should.
seconds. It's not going to be fun anymore. Let's make it a two-parter.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
the first
well,
part.
so which do you prefer? Mezcal or tequila, and what do you prefer about tequila to mezcal or mezcal to tequila? I have an opinion about that.
Clearly.
Yeah.
You. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're
so
welcome.
much fun. Thank you.
With a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not.